Now at one, breaking news, a mistrial declared in a high-profile murder trial as jurors cannot agree whether to convict an Orange County judge accused of killing his wife. Good afternoon. This is the KTLA 5 News at 1. I'm Glenn Walker.
And I'm Lou Parker. Prosecutors say just one juror made the difference in refusing to convict and that they are prepared to retry this case.
KTLA 5's Orange County Bureau Chief Chip Yost is live outside the Santa Ana Courthouse with the very latest. Chip?
Yeah, hey there, Glenn and Lou. After what we've seen the last week and a half, this outcome, not a huge surprise. A mistrial declared today in the murder trial of Orange County Superior Court Judge Jeffrey Ferguson. We learned that the jury was deadlocked 11-1, 11 in favor of convicting him of second-degree murder, but one holdout who didn't believe he should be convicted of second-degree murder. Let's show you some video from earlier in the trial. Jeffrey Ferguson, an Orange County Superior Court judge, was on trial for shooting and killing his wife in August of 2023. The prosecution argued that he did it on purpose, that it happened in the middle of an argument at their home, that he pulled out a gun, pointed it at her on purpose, and pulled the trigger. But the defense argued during the trial it was an accident, that Ferguson fumbled the gun while trying to put it on a table and accidentally shot her. During the 9 days of deliberations, today was the 9th day of deliberations, the jury asked at least 2 times to talk to the judge because they said they were at an impasse. The judge even allowed the defense and prosecution to give a second closing argument to try to get them over the hump. That did not work today. A mistrial was declared, and the DA said afterwards that they are ready to retry the case. However, in one interesting development, Cheryl Ferguson's brother, the victim in the case, her brother said that they do not want the DA to retry Jeffrey Ferguson for murder. He says he and his siblings are in agreement that this is not a murder case. He in particular said that he believes it was an accident. We're going to hear from that brother in a moment. But first, let's hear from DA Todd Spitzer.
It was unequivocally clear by the jury's outcome, obviously not a verdict, that they believed that our prosecution team proved this case beyond a reasonable doubt to 11, and there was obviously one holdout. That happens. I respect that juror. We respect the jury process. We're part of the system. We understand how the system works, but we're ready to retry it.
I personally, on behalf of the family, would like to share that all of us do not believe that Jeff Ferguson committed murder. We have our doubts amongst each other in regards to levels of culpability, but in terms of the act that happened, clearly we all are in agreement that it's involuntary, that it was something that happened accidentally. To me, it's shows that the jury, at least to some degree, is as conflicted as I am.
Now, the district attorney said he has not made a final decision about what his next move would be and said he will talk to family members of Cheryl Ferguson to get their input before deciding what he's going to do moving forward. But if they do decide to retry for second-degree murder, that could happen fairly quickly. One other interesting development that happened is during the trial, Jeffrey Ferguson testified that sometimes when he was working as a sitting judge, he would drink alcohol during his lunch breaks, then go back and sit on the bench. Spitzer said because of that admission during court that he is going to open up an inquiry, if you will, or at least take inquiries from people who had cases before Judge Ferguson who believe that their cases may have been impacted by his drinking. He is going to take a second look at the request of people in that situation, and he says he doesn't know how many cases that might be, but because he says that came out in court that it's the right thing to do, so they might be reviewing some cases Judge Ferguson sat on while he was still a sitting judge. Now, he's still getting paid. He's still a judge. He's not been sitting on any cases, but he's still getting his salary from the state during this process. Don't know how that will be affected by this outcome at this point, but there could be a review of a number of his cases over the years that he heard since he admitted that he did drink on occasion at lunch while he was sitting on the bench. For now, reporting live here in Santa Ana, I'm Chip Yost, KTLA 5 News.
All right.